Good afternoon. My name is Salvador Nieves. This is going to be my presentation for our first assignment in terms of our reading journal. So, first of all, what is and is not disciplinary literacy according to the text? So, according to Chapter One of Literacy within the disciplines, this is actually on the very first page. It specifically states this new model, aptly called disciplinary literacy, recognizes that reading, writing, thinking, and reasoning, and doing within each discipline is unique and leads to the understanding that every field of study creates, communicates, and evaluates knowledge differently. To bring it all together, this text is explicitly trying to say, in terms of layman terms, is that everyone interprets text differently. Scientists will interpret one text differently compared to someone who, for example, studies music. Right? Every person interpretation all comes down to what they are specifically learning, and we can't expect everyone to understand it the same way. Um, However, there is at times where that may not be the case, which leads us into the second question: what connections can be made between disciplinary literacy and deeper learning slash higher order thinking? Now, if we reference to Figure 1.1 within the text, we see that deeper learning can generalize the skills that they are to master as students, while disciplinary literacy takes it one step further, where students can understand the material in a specific atmosphere. Again, coming back to um, uh, being where a music student might interpret a certain piece of information differently than that who studies science. All right. Specifically, one example we see is in the 1.1 figure. It states that within deeper learning, um, it specifically states that it results in the mastery of core academic content, whereas disciplinary literacy results in the mastery of core academic content by developing expertise in specific disciplines. So again, it takes it one step further and ensures that we understand the content specifically according to whatever atmosphere they're trying to learn in. Moving on, how does this connect to your content area in Chapter 1 reading? Um, According to page 24 in the section titled Standards Analysis and Goal Setting of the text of reading, in the text called Reading and Writing Strategies for the Secondary English Classroom in a PLC at Work, it specifically states while your team may have generalized overarching literacy goal right out of the gate, it must dedicate time to the specific development of discrete goals that identify what it wants students to learn. As a teacher, we have to be able to read the content and standards we want our students to achieve through their lens and figure out the best way to break it down for them. Not all students will be able to get the assignment the first time around, and contingencies have to be in place beforehand, um, just as a precautionary tale. We also have to be ready to respond to our colleagues as they will have questions in terms of what we're looking the lesson plan to be, and being able to defend it is going to be a very large thing that we have to keep in mind. Now, to finish off, how have you seen or not seen this play out in your current student teaching context? So, as a student teacher, I have, me having been in education for as long as I've been, obviously now it's doing my master's. A lot of these assignments to me are very simple. However, I do have to acknowledge that not all of my students will be able to understand this content on the first try. So I have to be able to come up with. I have to look at this specifically through the lens of a high school student who's maybe reading scores are much lower than others, and I have to consider how can I explain this to them so that they can understand it much easier. Um, and I will continue to see that as I go on because not all students learn the same, and it's very important that we keep that in mind.